Last time on Barn Find Bikes, we rescued two Honda Trail 90s that have been sitting for 40 years.
This poor carburetor's leaking out of every orifice.
So it seems like the float on this little carburetor is working properly.
After some tinkering, we did manage to get one of the bikes running.
Sorry, I'm not supposed to be in the video, but it works! Whoopee!
It wasn't running right, so we figured it would be easier to order a new carb than to try and tune that original one. So in this episode, we install some fresh parts and try and take the little orange Trail 90 on its first ride in its second life.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Case, and on this episode of TFL Bike, we are hopefully going to get our Honda Trail 90, the 1972 model, actually romping around in the dirt. We're going to start with pulling this old carb, putting this one on here, and probably test the spark, see if we can't confirm that everything is good. The nice thing about a little scooter like this is that all the parts are really cheap and everything is really simple. If we were smart, we'd probably diagnose the issues first and then throw new parts at it, but I'm pretty sure this was a $40 carburetor, so we're just going to throw new parts at it. You'll find that when you're working on any kind of Japanese bike, and even a lot of stuff on Japanese cars, your 10 mil is going to be your best friend because almost everything on these is 10 mil. If it can be, they will make it 10 mil. This rubber gets stiff when it's old. There we go. Cool. Now, gotta pop the hose clamps off the back of it. Should get a bolt ready. Oh, it's already leaking gas. Yay! Fun part about this is it just pukes fuel. Alright, I'm gonna use a vice grip to kind of hold this fuel line somewhat closed. Oh, ingenuity. Well, it might be this bottom line that's more of an issue. Yep. Hey Dave, you got another vice grip?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. It's always the one that you don't expect. Well, I have now switched around the vice grip to this other fuel line. I'm using a bolt and this hose clamp to block this one right here. And I only spilled a little bit of fuel. These two carbs are virtually identical. They've even both got this little screen on the front of them. I mean, everything about them is pretty much exactly the same, except this one has studs in it, and this one does not. So, what do you think? Can we pull the studs out of this guy?
Well, we could try.
Kind of seems like it, because I'm seeing the backs of them over here. So,
Only problem is the Happy Yak wrench doesn't have many metric bolts.
it does seem that they are spinning out. So, looks like we can just throw these studs into our new carburetor. Nice. Another note, if we were professionals, we would definitely get a new rubber gasket and not reuse this one, but we're not gonna, because this is not all that high performance of a machine, so I'm not really worried about.
Yeah, that one looks like it's in pretty good shape.
Be good enough. We'll get it extra snug just in case. Is that threading in right?
Not threading in.
Well, I definitely don't want to force it. But it might just be a little gunked up. I don't know, they look like that. Does that thread look any coarser to you than what's on this stud?
No, it looks right.
Yeah. So it should work. I could try and spin it with needle nose and just grab this smooth section here instead of gouging these threads any worse. Yeah, definitely seems to stop up. But then again, how well does a carburetor need to be attached? It's not a structural component, you know, as long as it's flush, right? You know what they say?
What do they say?
cross-threaded or not, tight is tight.
Tight is tight, that's true.
Tight is tight.
I'm just curious if it was SA. It's not. It's
No, I doubt it. I think these are Taiwanese carburetors, if I remember hearing from Tommy right. I wouldn't imagine they'd be SA.
Huh.
Isn't that weird?
I
You wanna
wonder-
try it?
I was just thinking if I had two nuts.
Yeah.
Put both nuts on it and try turning it in there.
You know, when old rubber has lost its springiness, you just smash it. You just put a ton of tension on it. I'm sure a professional mechanic would tell you exactly the same thing.
So Tommy found something super cool. Scroll to the top for a sec, Case. Look at this. Shop manual for, well, 6 different bikes, but the CT90 is on there. PDF of a original shop manual, and this is so detailed. There are just so many pictures and charts and diagrams. It has so much info on here. As Case said, this is from an era when they actually expected you to work on your own stuff.
Look at this, an engine performance chart. It's got all these old school pictures of these things. How awesome is that? And further down in this, they tell you how to do crazy stuff like, I mean, basically rebuilding the whole motor. It's got every bit of information that you're never going to use. These are things that we're never going to do. Look at that. Checking the valve guide diameter. Not going to happen.
Yeah, so we're just looking up for something super basic. We're trying to figure out which fuel line goes where on the carburetor.
We just want to be sure.
Yeah.
If I was smart, you know, would have marked it when I took it off the first time, which I did not do.
Alright, the manual Tommy found is too detailed, and we couldn't find what we were looking for. So we're just gonna go with one way, and if it doesn't work, we'll switch it up. Case hooked the fuel lines up to the new carb, and it was time to give it a go. Should we give her a kick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
This is going to be the moment
First
of
kick,
truth.
Case. That sounds way better.
Yeah, it's not revving to the universe. It's not exactly tuned perfectly, but it's running. New parts. Ain't nothing like it.
Now, Case did manage to kick the bike over and get it running, but only once. As soon as the bike shut down, we couldn't get it to fire back up, and it was time for the push start technique.
How is it?
Sketchy.
Nice. How's that back brake?
Back brake works, and the bike works. I just need to bring Tommy around everywhere I go.
Yeah, well, and we should probably realistically get this thing running properly.
But look at that, we got the trip computer still works. It's actually clocking in.
Oh man,
0.3 miles.
that's more can be said for half the stuff I own. How's pushing the bike?
Not great. TBH.
You don't enjoy it?
I mean, it's awesome. Recommend it. It's not going in neutral either, is it?
Nope.
Tommy is already loving the world of motorcycles. Sometimes it has to be rolling for it to go into neutral.
It does not want to go into neutral. So we were pushing the bike around David's property a little bit, and we did get it to fire a couple times, but now we're not having so much luck. So Tommy's pulling the plug, checking for spark using that cool little tool he got. We're probably going to dribble some gas into the cylinder and maybe the carbs, see if we can get it to fire that way, but we definitely think it's a fueling issue right now.
Yeah, we just need to get it to run long enough for us to do a little carb tuning.
Yeah, the problem is we got it to run, but we had the shift pattern a little bit backwards, so I was trying to kick all the way down to neutral. And neutral's all the way up on this bike, so we need to get it running and then get it into neutral so we can play around with it while it's running.
Yeah, so weirdly it's the opposite of the Super Cub that we have at the office.
Yeah, and probably opposite of the new Trail 125 that's coming out in a month or two here.
That's going to be confusing.
Oh yeah.
All right, Alex, do you want to take a look up front there? That little dude. See what he's doing. You ready? I don't see anything. Nothing, huh?
We definitely weren't getting spark, which was weird since we already got the bike to kickstart once. We figured we'd give the battery some time on the charger and try again, but still, no luck. Instead, Tommy got lots of exercise getting the bike running.
Yeah, back brake.
Here we go! Onward! Whoa.
Need a seat. Nice job, guys.
I wonder if that's high range or low range.
That sounds like it's high range to me.
You think so?
Yeah.
Look at him. Hey, that's pretty cool.
That is so cool. That thing's been set for 30 years in Ben's barn, and it runs now. It's idling.
It's gonna die.
It's gonna die.
Yeah. It's idling, guys. Case just made a little bit of an adjustment, and it's not running great, but it's not dying out on us.
There you go. That's not good.
But yeah, it runs pretty well actually around the property. I'm surprised. We got it going. Go for it.
Want to ride it?
Yeah, go for it. Case is riding it with a lot more aggression than I was. Wow.
He doesn't know the tires are 30 years old.
Yeah. It doesn't feel good going that fast, to be honest. Hopefully he makes it back in one piece.
All right, great.
All right, this is the first time riding it for me. I'm excited about this. Ben's gonna be excited too. That we got it running after it's been sitting in his barn for 30 years. He's gonna be ecstatic. So hard to get used to this shift.
What do you think?
I love it. This is gonna be fun to take up on our no pavement needed tour.
That's just really cool and puts a big smile on my face. That bike's been sitting in a barn for probably close to, if not more than 40 years, and a $26 carburetor and a, I don't know, $20 battery. So like less than 50 bucks in parts and a couple hours of our time, and we're all happy. This thing's riding around, and I'm sure Ben is gonna be thrilled. Tommy's definitely having a blast, and the horn works. Down here, one of the cool things about these Trail 90s is they had a low range, so there's a little switch where you could switch between low and high. We didn't really pay too much attention to that. We just kind of forgot about it and started working on the bike. And then once we got it running, we were like, hey, let's flip it into low range. Turns out we were already in low range, so we tried going to high, and high's not working. So David said maybe the high gear's stripped out. We'll have to do a little bit more looking into that, but so far the manual switch on the engine and also the handlebar switch isn't working. Big surprise there.
All right, so our seat was a little rough. It was more than a little rough. I think it had some kind of critters living in it too. So I put a little padding in there, and we're just gonna put new upholstery on it.
Look nice and modern. Honda red seat.
Red, Honda red. Look at all the crud falling out of it. That's your 30-second upholstery job right there.
Boom, it's restored.
So David, we know it runs.
Yeah.
but there's an ultimate challenge.
Okay.
Can you bring it up? Our new Yakadega 500 race course.
That may be something that Case will have to do.
Case, you want to try it?
I do
He's-
want to try it.
Yeah, he's got a little more daredevil in him than I do.
Okay, we'll see if he can do it.
I'm about to do the first off-road test of this beast. David has gone as far to lube the chain. I'm even wearing eye protection, so this is a pretty official deal we got going here. Still doesn't really want to start.
All right, here, I'll just push you.
So the Trail 90, at least the orange one, made it one lap around the, what are we calling this? The Yakadega Nights course or something, something along those lines. So I guess for the next episode, we gotta do a little more carb tuning, make it run a little better. Of course we need brakes, that'll be a good thing to have. And maybe start working on that yellow one. Shine her up too, it's pretty dirty.
Maybe someday we can get better than 30-year-old tires too. Or 40, however old they are.
How does it ride, Case?
Well, it rides really good except for the fact that you can't brake with your hands. So, I mean, the only braking you can do is down here. And, yeah, sometimes, because this, I don't know, I feel like the neutral is in kind of a weird place. So, I don't know, it's fun.
The high-speed transferred case doesn't work. What else doesn't work? Brakes doesn't work, Kickstarter doesn't work. But yeah, that's about it.
What about the horn?
The horn works perfectly.
So there we go, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to go over, check out all the other videos at TFL Bike and car, truck, and off-road as well if you're into that kind of stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.